My phone rings with Mom's special ringtone, the old country song she used to hum while cooking Sunday dinners. I press the speaker button, balancing my laptop on my knees as I curl deeper into my home office chair. "Calla, sweetheart, are you busy?" Mom's voice bubbles through the speaker, that special cheerfulness she reserves for family announcements. "Just finishing a client proposal." I minimize the spreadsheet where I've been calculating quarterly projections for a healthcare startup. "What's up?" "Well, I wanted to share some exciting news." She pauses for dramatic effect. "Your brother just bought that beautiful Tudor in Oakwood Hills. You know, the one with the stone pathway and those gorgeous maple trees?" My fingers freeze over the keyboard. Finn bought a house in Oakwood Hills? The exclusive neighborhood where homes start at $500,000. The same neighborhood where I lost a bidding war last spring. "Yes, they close next week. Your father and I are just thrilled." I straighten in my chair. "That's unexpected. Last month he was saying the market was too expensive." "Oh, we helped him out a bit." Mom's voice lilts upward. "We gave him $85,000 for the down payment. Nothing makes us happier than seeing our children settled." The room tilts sideways. $85,000. I grip the edge of my desk to steady myself. "Mom, that's incredibly generous." "Well, you know how it is. Finn's starting his life, and that neighborhood is perfect for when they have children." She pauses. "You've always been so independent, sweetie. We figured you didn't need help." The words land like a slap. Independent. The family code word for, we don't have to worry about Calla. My phone buzzes with a text notification. I glance down to see an alert from my bank. "Unusual account activity detected. Attempted access to closed joint account number 4582. The joint account I closed 3 weeks ago. The one I originally opened to help Dad pay his medical bills when he lost his insurance." "Mom, I need to go. Something's come up with work." "Always working. That's our Calla. Will we see you Sunday for brunch?" My mind flashes back to last month's family dinner. Dad raising his glass to Finn's new temporary job at his friend's landscaping company. Finally doing real work with his hands. Meanwhile, my business, the one that paid their property taxes last year, was dismissed as just consulting. "Calla? You there?" "Sorry, Mom, I've got to run." I hang up before she can hear the tremor in my voice. I dial my attorney's number from memory. Morgan Cooper's office. "It's Calla Whitaker. Is she available? It's urgent." 2 minutes later, Morgan's crisp voice comes through. "Calla, what's happened?" "My parents just tried to access our old joint account, the one we closed last month. The attempted access was logged. They can't touch what they don't know exists. They just gave my brother $85,000 for a house down payment." My voice sounds hollow even to my own ears. Right before trying to withdraw from my account. A pause. "I see. And what would you like to do about this information?" I open my laptop and create a new spreadsheet. The title forms under my fingertips. Family Karma Audit. In the first row, I type $85,000. Given to Finn for house. $0. Given to Calla. "Calla? Are you still there?" "I'm here." I reach into my desk drawer and remove the silver frame holding last year's Christmas photo, all of us smiling in matching sweaters, my arm around Mom's shoulders. I place it face down in the drawer. I'm just getting started. On Sunday during brunch, the afternoon sun filters through the bay windows as I kneel beside Mom, angling her phone to capture everyone at the patio table. Dad and Finn crowd together with Taylor, their smiles practiced and wide for the camera. "Just one more," I say, pressing the shutter button. A notification slides down the screen, a group text. My finger accidentally taps it before I can stop myself. "Whitaker family chat. No Calla." The breath freezes in my lungs. 3 years of messages from a thread I never knew existed. My eyes dart across the screen, catching fragments as I scroll quickly. "Dad, closing tomorrow on the Oakwood house. Finally beat those California transplants driving up prices." "Finn, that family that outbid us last year moved to Seattle. Karma. The family that outbid them. My bid. On the Tudor with maple trees that I'd fallen in love with last spring. Mom, remember we need to check Calla's joint account before she notices. Graham, can you stop by the bank Tuesday? Finn, Little Miss Independent won't even realize. She's too busy consulting to check her statements. Taylor, you guys are too much. Family takes care of family." My fingers turn to ice. I nearly dropped the phone. Kala? Are you finished? Mom's voice pulls me back. I hand her the phone, muscle memory taking over while my mind spins. Perfect shots, I manage to say, my voice surprisingly steady. I slip back to my place at the table, now hyper-aware of the physical distance. Everyone else sits clustered at one end, shoulders touching, voices overlapping while I occupy what suddenly feels like the children's table at Thanksgiving dinner. Finn leans forward, elbows on the tablecloth. So I was thinking about redoing the roof right away. The inspector said it's got 5 years left, but why wait? We're talking copper accents, architectural shingles. Sounds expensive, Taylor adds, her voice bright with anticipation. 18,000, right? I sip my water, calculations running through my head. That's a significant investment. How are you planning to cover that on your landscaping salary, Finn? The question comes out measured, curious rather than accusatory. The table falls silent. Mom's spine straightens as if pulled by a string. Why are you always so aggressive? She asks, her voice tight with warning. Dad places his fork down with deliberate care. That tone is unladylike, Kala. It's intimidating to men when women talk about money like that. Finn snorts, reaching for another biscuit. Feminist Kala at it again, counting every penny. Some of us prefer to live a little. We're helping with the landscaping, Mom interjects, folding her napkin into smaller and smaller squares. The yard has so much potential with those maple trees. The same maple trees I'd planned to build a reading bench under. Taylor nods enthusiastically. Family takes care of family. Your parents helped with my student loans too. She reaches across to squeeze Mom's hand. I don't know what we'd do without them. My phone vibrates in my pocket. A text from a number I haven't seen in years. Greer Hollis. We need to talk about Florida. Cousin Greer, the black sheep who vanished from family gatherings 5 years ago after a mysterious argument with Dad about Grandma's estate. Before I can respond, another message arrives, this one from Morgan. Discovered forged signatures on timeshare sale. Call me as soon as possible. The dining room door swings open, and Rebecca, my assistant, steps in with practiced confidence. She nods politely to my family before approaching with a manila folder. Sorry to interrupt Sunday brunch, but these required your immediate attention. Her eyes convey a different message. I've got your back. You brought work to family brunch? Mom's voice climbs half an octave. If you keep putting business before family, we'll have to reconsider your invitation to the holiday gathering. Dad's expression darkens. This attitude of yours is damaging our relationship, Kala. Your brother never brings work to family functions. Finn smirks over the rim of his mimosa. Maybe if you weren't so calculating all the time, you'd actually find a husband who could put up with you. I accept the folder from Rebecca with steady hands, feeling strangely detached from their barbs. For the first time, I see the pattern with perfect clarity, how they've used my independence against me, how they've reframed my success as a character flaw. Thank you, Rebecca. I stand, tucking the folder under my arm. I should review these. As I walk toward the guest bathroom, my phone buzzes again. Morgan's message is brief but electric. Documents received. This is worse than we thought. I lock the bathroom door and lean against the cool marble counter, confronting my reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back doesn't look betrayed or broken. She looks clear-eyed, resolute. The question forms in my mind with perfect clarity. Would I continue supporting people who see my independence as an invitation to take more? Or would I finally draw the line they've been crossing for years? The answer comes not in words, but in the straightening of my shoulders and the steel entering my spine. I open Rebecca's folder to find 15 years of family financial records, meticulously organized and highlighted. Attached to the first page is a sticky note in her precise handwriting. You didn't imagine it, it's all here. My phone vibrates at midnight, Finn's name flashing on the screen. I consider letting it go to voicemail, but answer on the third ring. Hey, what's going on? I keep my voice neutral, sliding out of bed and walking to the kitchen. Kala, thank God. Finn's voice carries that particular breathless quality he reserves for financial emergencies. The home inspection found black mold in the attic. I need 18,000 for remediation before we close next week. I fill a glass with water, taking a long sip before answering. That's a significant amount. What did the bank say? Come on, you know they won't extend the loan this late in the process. His voice shifts, softer now. It's just a short-term thing. 60 days, tops. The microwave clock glows 12:17 a.m. I place my glass on the counter with a deliberate click. Have you asked Mom and Dad? A pause. They suggested I call you. Said you're flush with cash from that healthcare contract. Of course they did. I trace a finger along the granite countertop, feeling its cool solidity against my skin. I can't help you, Finn. What do you mean you can't? Or won't? His voice hardens. This is family, Calla. Yes, it is. I end the call and block his number. The morning brings 3 voicemails from Mom, each progressively more wounded. The last one makes my stomach twist. Honestly, Calla, I don't understand why you're being so difficult about helping your brother. Aunt Judy asked about you at Bridge Club yesterday and I hardly knew what to say. Family supports family. That's how we raised you. I delete all 3 without responding and drive to my downtown office. The autumn sky stretches clear blue above the city skyline, mocking my darkening mood. Rebecca meets me at the elevator, coffee in hand and worry in her eyes. Your 10 o'clock canceled, but there's something else. Your parents are in the conference room. I stop mid-stride. What? They showed up 20 minutes ago. Said they needed to speak with you urgently. She lowers her voice. Your Kensington healthcare clients are due in 45 minutes. Perfect timing. I take the coffee, inhaling its bitter strength. Tell them they have 15 minutes. Mom rises when I enter, arms outstretched as if for a hug I have no intention of giving. Dad remains seated, examining the room with the appraising eye of someone mentally calculating square footage costs. Darling, we've been so worried. You haven't returned any calls. Mom's floral perfume fills the air between us. I'm preparing for an important client meeting. I remain standing. What's so urgent? Dad clears his throat. It's about your brother's house. The inspection revealed some issues that need immediate attention. I'm aware. Finn called at midnight. Then you understand the urgency. Mom places her hand on mine. I resist the urge to pull away. We've already done so much for him with the down payment. We thought perhaps you could handle this small repair. Small. $18,000 is small. Number. The single word lands with surprising weight. Mom blinks rapidly. Dad's jaw tightens. Calla Elizabeth, he says, using my full name as he did when I was 10. Your brother needs help. And I needed help last spring when I lost the bidding war on the house he's now buying with your money. My voice remains steady. You told me the market would correct itself and I should be patient. An uncomfortable silence stretches between us, broken by Rebecca knocking gently on the doorframe. Miss Whitaker, your Kensington clients are in the lobby. Thank you, Rebecca. I turn back to my parents. I have work to do. Mom's face crumples. We just need to understand why you're being like this. Like what, Mom? Independent? The word tastes acidic on my tongue. They leave with tight smiles and promises to figure something out. I watch them go, wondering how many times I've capitulated to similar ambushes over the years. 2 hours later, my phone pings with a credit alert. I excuse myself from the client meeting to check the notification. Unusual activity detected on Visa account number 4719. An account I never opened. The afternoon becomes a blur of phone calls and documentation. A credit card in my name with $9,600 in charges at home improvement stores. Family vacation photos on Facebook from a Lake Michigan trip I knew nothing about. A collection agency calling about Finn's truck loan with my forged signature as co-signer. This is a clear pattern, Morgan says when I call her. The attorney's voice carries the professional calm of someone accustomed to family betrayals. How soon can you meet? Tomorrow morning. Bring whatever documentation you have. And Calla, consider changing your locks. I hang up as my office door opens. It's Rebecca, holding a thick manila envelope. Your cousin Greer called while you were on the phone. She asked me to give you this in person, not by mail. Rebecca hesitates. She said it's about your grandparents' Florida property. My fingers tremble slightly as I open the envelope. Inside, a stack of notarized documents show a timeshare sale from 3 years agawith, my signature on the transfer paperwork. A signature I never made. More damning is the second document. A copy of my grandparents' will, highlighting a separate inheritance designated specifically for me. Money I never received. My phone rings. Morgan. I've reviewed the preliminary documentation, she says without preamble. We have a solid paper trail of financial exploitation spanning at least 5 years. This isn't just family taking advantage, Calla. This crosses into criminal territory. I feel something shift inside Minot, the crushing weight of betrayal, but something unexpected: lightness. While organizing my desk drawer, I find the receipt for the platinum watch I bought Dad last Christmas, $750 I couldn't really afford, but spent anyway, wanting to see his face light up. Attached is a return slip dated the 26th of December. Store credit issued to Graham Whitaker, $750. The next morning, I meet Greer at a coffee shop downtown. My cousin looks both older and more resolved than when I last saw her at Grandma's funeral. "They did the same to me," she says without preamble. After I questioned why Uncle Graham was handling Grandma's estate instead of the designated executor. Suddenly, I wasn't invited to family functions. Mom started telling everyone I was having mental health issues. I wrap my hands around my mug. How much have they taken? From me? About $40,000 in inheritance I can prove. From you? She slides another folder across the table. Based on these records, nearly $300,000 over the past decade. My stomach drops, but my voice remains steady. How did you get these? Aunt Iris left her email logged in on my laptop last Thanksgiving. I've been gathering evidence ever since. She meets my eyes directly. They've been selling off family properties for years, Calla. Properties with our names on the deeds. That afternoon, Morgan calls again. I've spoken with my partners. We'd like to handle your case pro bono. Her voice carries unusual emotion. This is elder abuse in reverse. You're not alone in this situation. Later that day, my mentor Diane suggests a comprehensive documentation strategy for the inevitable family confrontation. Create packets for each person. Everything organized chronologically. No emotion, just facts. Rebecca stays late 3 nights running, helping organize years of financial records into color-coded evidence packets. You know this means war, she says, sealing the last envelope. Number, I shake my head. This means justice. I send a certified letter requesting a family meeting at my home office on Saturday. They try to reschedule 3 times. I remain firm. Finn calls Thursday night, his voice slurred and angry. You need to stop harassing the family, Calla. Mom's blood pressure is through the roof because of your bullshit. I'll see you Saturday at 10, I reply and hang up. After he calls back 6 times, I block his number too. Friday evening, Rebecca helps me prepare the improvised V conference room at home. As she arranges water glasses and notepads with precision, I reveal the final piece. There's something else they don't know about. I unlock my desk drawer and remove a leather-bound binder labeled Family Karma Audit. Rebecca's eyes widen as I open it, revealing meticulous records dating back 15 years. Bank statements, text messages, emails, photos of checks, loan agreements, never honored. You've been keeping track all along. Yes. I run my finger down the final column of the spreadsheet. $297,842.16. What are you going to do? Rebecca asks. I close the binder with a quiet snap. I'm going to give them exactly 1 chance to make this right. The conference table in my home office gleams under recessed lighting. I've positioned everyone with precision: my parents on the far side, Finn beside them, Greer to my right, and attorney Morgan Cooper at the head of the table. Rebecca stands quietly by the credenza, managing the coffee service with the same efficiency she brings to our client presentations. Thank you all for coming. I open the leather portfolio that contains the records of my family's financial exploitation. I've asked you here to address some concerning patterns I've discovered. Mother fidgets with her pearl bracelet. Really, Calla, this formal setting seems excessive for a family chat. This isn't a chat. I slide the first document across the polished surface. This is a comprehensive accounting of financial support I've provided over the past decade. Father's face pales as the total at the bottom catches his eye. $297,842.63. Attorney Morgan distributes copies to everyone. Miss Whitaker has maintained meticulous records, as you can see. Finn scoffs, pushing the paper away. This is ridiculous. You're keeping score? Family doesn't count pennies. Apparently, my pennies were the only ones being counted. I click the remote. The wall-mounted screen displays security footage from First National Bank. This was taken 3 months ago. That's you, Finn, using my driver's license and social security card to access my accounts. The room falls silent. Taylor shifts uncomfortably in her chair. After everything we've done for you, Mother whispers, her voice cracking with practiced emotion. How can you attack your family this way? Father adopts his puzzled expression, the same one he used when questioned about missing tools from my garage. I don't recall any of these arrangements. My memory isn't what it used to be. Finn stands abruptly, his chair scraping against hardwood. I'm not going to sit here while you attack Mom and Dad. I'll make sure everyone in the family knows how you're treating them. Please do. I press another button on the remote. Finn's voice fills the room. Kala's such a sucker. All you have to do is mention Dad's medical bills and she writes another check. The best part? She's so busy working, she never notices when a little extra disappears. His recorded laughter cuts through the room like broken glass. Finn lunges for the door. Morgan steps in front of it. I suggest you remain seated, Mr. Whitaker. We're just getting started. Greer clears her throat and opens her own folder. I have the documents regarding the Florida timeshare sale. She spreads papers across the table. These signatures were forged. The handwriting analysis confirms it. Mother's mascara begins to run. Father stares at the floor, knuckles white against his armrests. Identity theft carries serious penalties. Morgan explains, her voice steady and professional. Wire fraud, forgery, unauthorized account access, these are criminal offenses with potential jail time. Rebecca serves coffee with quiet efficiency, placing cups in front of each person. Nobody reaches for them. If you discovered your family had stolen your identity and taken nearly $300,000 from you over a decade, I ask, looking each of them in the eye, would you pursue criminal charges, or would you give them one last chance to make it right? The question hangs in the air. Mother's confident facade crumbles first. Her shoulders curl inward as she stares at the spreadsheet. We never meant. You meant exactly this, I interrupt. The text messages planning to access my account before she notices make your intentions clear. Finn jumps up again. This is insane, I'm leaving. Morgan doesn't move from her position by the door. There are 2 police officers in my car outside. One word from Miss Whitaker, and they'll come in with warrants. Father hasn't spoken since the evidence presentation began. He sits motionless, eyes fixed on the table. Mother's crying turns from delicate tears to ugly sobs. You can't do this to your family. You did this, I correct her. My voice remains steady despite the rage burning in my chest. Every time you called me independent while taking advantage of my generosity. Every time you celebrated Finn while dismissing my success. Every time you forged my signature or accessed my accounts without permission. Taylor stands suddenly. I didn't know any of this. She looks at Finn with disgust. You told me Kala approved those loans. Taylor Finn reaches for her arm. She pulls away. Don't touch me. She grabs her purse and moves toward the door. Morgan steps aside to let her pass. The confident family unit that walked into my office an hour ago has disintegrated. Mother cries into a tissue. Father stares silently at the floor. Finn looks frantically between them, waiting for someone to fix this situation like they've fixed everything else in his life. I close my portfolio with a decisive snap. Now, let's discuss how you're going to make this right. Mother dabs at her eyes with a tissue. The perfect shade of coral lipstick remains untouched despite her theatrical display. We just wanted to help Finn start his life, she says, voice wavering with practiced vulnerability. You were already so established with your business. Father leans forward, elbows on the polished conference table in my home office. We always intended to leave you more in the will, to balance things out. His fingers tap a nervous rhythm against the mahogany surface. Finn, slouched in his chair, perks up. What we need is a family healing retreat. Not all this legal nonsense. He gestures dismissively at Attorney Morgan, who sits beside me with perfect posture, her silver pen poised over her legal pad. Mother nods enthusiastically. Your father and I were thinking we could sign over our timeshare in Scottsdale as fair compensation. The association fees are reasonable, and you'd have a vacation spot whenever you want. The same worthless timeshare they couldn't sell last year. The one with a lien against it for unpaid maintenance fees. I maintain eye contact with each of them as I open the leather portfolio Morgan prepared. From it, I withdraw 2 sealed envelopes. I've brought 2 options today. My voice sounds different, lower, steadier than it's ever been in their presence. The first envelope contains a legal agreement for full repayment with interest over 5 years. I place it in the center of the table. The second contains criminal complaints for fraud, forgery, and identity theft, ready to file with the district attorney. The silence feels like ice cracking beneath their feet. I've supported this family for 15 years. I spread the documents before them like playing cards. Today, that ends. Morgan slides forward a thick folder. These bank statements show systematic transfers from Kala's accounts to yours over the past decade. She opens to a highlighted page. Here we have a credit check revealing multiple accounts opened in Kalya's name without her authorization. Finn's face drains of color as Morgan continues. This notarized affidavit from the bank manager details your unauthorized access attempts to missbrivenix.com. Whitaker's account specifically on the day you gave your son $85,000. Father stares at the ceiling. Mother's hands tremble. And these, Morgan taps a bound stack of papers, are text messages between family members discussing plans to access Kala's funds. Note the timestamps, they predate your gift to Finn by less than 24 hours. I stand, circling the table slowly. The room feels warmer now, my skin electric, with a power I've never allowed myself to claim. Mother, I stop behind her chair. You called me independent when you meant convenient. A reliable ATM who wouldn't ask questions. She flinches but doesn't turn. I move to Father. You taught me family comes first, then used that lesson against me. Every dollar I gave you was proof of my love, but never enough to earn yours. His shoulders hunch forward as if bearing physical weight. I reach Finn last. You forged my signature while calling me for sisterly advice about investments. Remember those late-night calls? You were holding my credit card application in your hand, weren't you? Finn stares at the table, jaw tight. Morgan slides the repayment agreement forward with 2 black pens. This option allows for monthly payments over 60 months. It includes provisions for early repayment without penalty. The grandfather clock in the hallway ticks 13 times before Mother reaches for a pen. Father follows, then Finn. The scratch of pen on paper sounds like victory. Finn reaches into his wallet and extracts 3 credit cards. He places them on the table, face down. These have your name on them, he mumbles. We'll need to list the house, Father says quietly to Mother. The equestrian membership, too. Morgan catches my eye, a slight nod confirming this wasn't part of our strategy. They've arrived at this conclusion themselves. Greer, who has been silent throughout, speaks for the first time. And the Florida property? The one grandmother left to Kala and me? Mother's head snaps up. How did you? Public records, Greer answers calmly. The sale closed 3 years ago. Father signs the final page with a defeated flourish. We'll figure something out. An hour later, the house is empty except for Rebecca, who silently collects coffee cups and straightens chairs. They signed, I tell her, still not quite believing it myself. Of course they did. She squeezes my shoulder. They finally saw you. That evening, I return from dinner with Morgan to find a blinking light on my answering machine. One new message. I press play, bracing myself for threats or manipulation. Mother's voice fills the room, strangely subdued. Kala, we need to talk about the house. I freeze, finger hovering over the delete button. Your house, she continues. The one in Oakwood Hills you lost in the bidding war. The buyers backed out yesterday. It's yours if you still want it. The message ends. The machine beeps, awaiting my command. I sit in the gathering darkness, weighing 15 years of history against one unexpected olive branch. The delete button glows red in the dimness. A month later, the real estate agent slides the papers across the weathered oak table. Just your signature, here and here, miss. Whitaker. She taps her manicured nail against the flagged lines, her coral lipstick matching the folders spread between us. I sign my name with the fountain pen my mentor Diane gave me when I landed my first major client. The ink flows smooth and permanent across the page. Congratulations. The agent beams, collecting the documents with practiced efficiency. You know, we had a higher offer from a lovely family with 3 children. But the seller appreciated your all-cash offer. No financing contingencies, no inspection delays. No strings, I add, running my fingertips across the grain of the table. Exactly. She hands me a set of keys attached to a handcrafted leather fob. This one's paid in full. No mortgages, no loans, no strings. The keys feel substantial in my palm, solid brass that catches the light streaming through the cabin windows. Through the glass, I can see the lake shimmering under the afternoon sun, ripples catching the light like thousands of tiny mirrors. I stand alone in my new space after the agent leaves, breathing in the scent of cedar and pine. The silence wraps around me like a favorite blanket knot, the suffocating quiet of family dinners after I asked uncomfortable questions, but the peaceful stillness of belonging only to myself. My phone chimes with a text from Morgan. Still coming at 4 for the official tour? I smile and type back, champagne's already chilling. The mail carrier arrives as I'm arranging cheese and fruit on a serving board. I recognize the cream-colored envelope immediately, the same type my parents used for my college graduation card. The one that contained congratulations but no check, unlike the generous gifts my brother received for much lesser accomplishments. This envelope feels different, heavier. Inside, I find a check for $3,500 and a handwritten note on my mother's monogrammed stationery. We're sorry. 2 words. No excuses, no justifications, no attempts to explain away years of financial exploitation. Just the first installment of repayment and an acknowledgement I never expected to receive. I place the check in a folder labeled Restitution Payments and continue preparing for my guests. Rebecca arrives first, carrying potted herbs for my kitchen windowsill. Greer follows with a hand-woven blanket in sunset colors. Morgan brings a bottle of expensive scotch and news that makes me pause while pouring water for the fresh flowers. Finn's house is listed as a short sale, she says, accepting the glass of champagne I offer. Your parents sold their Cadillac and that boat your father was so proud of. They're moving into a senior apartment complex next month. I nod, feeling neither vindication nor sorrow. And the timeshare proceeds? Greer received her first payment yesterday. Morgan raises her glass toward my cousin. Everything proceeding exactly as legally agreed. We gather around the fireplace as evening approaches, the 4 of us forming a circle of hard-won trust. On the stone mantel above us sits a simple frame containing a printout of my final family karma audit spreadsheet, the words "account settled" written in bold across the bottom. To chosen family, Rebecca says, raising her glass. To independence, Greer adds. To boundaries with consequences, Morgan offers with professional satisfaction. I look around at these women who stood beside me when blood relations failed. To freedom. Later, after they've gone, I sit on the dock with my feet dangling above the water. The lake stretches before me, vast and uncomplicated. My phone buzzes in my pocket, Mom, appearing on the screen with that old country song ringtone I never changed. I silence it without answering and watch the sun sink lower, painting the water in warm gold. The weight that lived between my shoulder blades for years has finally dissolved. Independence isn't what made me unworthy of their help. Independence is what finally set me free. If your family uses your strength as a reason to withhold support while draining your resources, would you have the courage to show them exactly how independent you can be? What would your family karma audit reveal if you started keeping track today? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one.